What's going on? I want to touch base on some things today, and I've been dealing with this stuff. I buy cars throughout the year, buy them, flip them, and make a little bit of money. But the main thing I want to talk about is when I buy these cars, 9 times out of 10, there's issues, and a lot of it is preventable. People either don't have the money to do it, or they turn around and just don't care and try to piece it together. So today I want to talk about a little about maintenance on your vehicle for the longevity of your vehicle. And some of this stuff can really help prolong the life of your vehicle just by doing simple things. And we're going to take the Honda that Ethan bought the other day for an example. We got a pretty decent deal on it. It had some issues, and we dug in, and a lot of it was preventable maintenance. And so, kind of give a start of what's going on. It's like, you hear the squeaky brake going on. Oh, I'll be okay for a while. And next thing you know, you're having to replace rotors, calipers, brake lines, whatever else because you neglected it. Like tune-ups, well, I got a miss, well, it'll be okay. On these newer cars, man, you start getting a miss and stuff, and it messes with the computer, it throws up engine codes, misfire codes, everything else. And, but basically, just regular general maintenance, man, can go a long way. So when we bought the car the other day, we stayed up all night working on this thing and did a little bit of the video. There was an issue with the distributor. There was leaking oil into it, and then come to find out the pickup was bad. But the car would run smooth and then would run rough. There was oil in the cap. But when we dug into it, this thing needed a tune-up. The rotor button was trash. Looked like someone tried to force it in the back, so it wasn't lining up right, so it was slide back and forth. Mismatched plug wires, and the plugs in this thing, man, were like, they're just black as hell. And it wouldn't have taken that much to straighten that issue out. But they just neglected it and kept going with it. And tune-up guys, these days, these cars go like 100,000 miles between tune-ups. And get it done, do it right, get the right plugs for it, the right wires, and with the newer vehicles now, you've got coil packs, and they're not that expensive depending on the vehicle, and you can get a lot of this stuff online. I see a lot of people buy stuff on Amazon, eBay, Rock Auto, Parts One. Because a lot of time these days, you got to get something at your regular automotive place, they have to order it, and you can do the same thing yourself these days and probably get it at a cheaper price. And but this would have been an easy replacement. Yes, the distributor costs a little bit more. We went ahead and sourced it locally because he wanted to get driving it. But this particular distributor for that Honda, you can get online for anywhere between $70 to $200. So depending on the quality you want, the manufacturer, stuff like this. This particular one cost us like $235. But the plug wires and stuff, as part of normal maintenance, the plugs, make sure they're gapped right. Just don't buy a set and just throw them in there. Now me personally, with the vehicles, I know people will have plug preference and stuff. I usually use what the manufacturer uses. There's a reason for this, for a daily. Now, if you're building a hot rod, it's a little different. It depends what kind of spark you're wanting and what kind of fuel you're running. But for a daily, just go with recommended, what's on, factory replacements. And even these are getting hard to find now. We had to order the plugs for that Honda because they only had 3 out of the 4 in stock. But The car runs a lot better now. We know we don't have to mess with the tune-up for a while on this thing. And the other thing on this car too was didn't have an oil change. So we changed the oil in it, make sure everything's clean, new filter. I mean, usually it's every 3,000 miles, every $3, how you want to look at it. But these new cars now, I mean, you got oil now can go up to like 5,000 miles plus between oil changes. And but you don't want to, you know, prolong your oil changes. Now I know you've heard, well, I've never changed my oil in 10 years and it still runs great. You know, yeah, you can go, if you want to do that, that's fine. Me personally, I mean, do the maintenance. I mean, if this car is going to be your car you want for a while, I mean, just do it. And use the correct oil. These newer cars are finicky about oil now. If it tells you you're running 040 or an 020 weight, run it. Kind of like on the Hemi stuff, it's, you know, it's like 520, 530, you know, depending if you got an MDS system or a non-MDS system. But I always use manufacturer spec oils, you know, unless it's a race application, and, you know, of course that's a different story. But basically, tune-ups, oil changes, brakes. Now, when we got this car, on top of needing the tune-up work done on it, the front brakes were shot on this thing. And I mean, all the way down past the indicator, it was getting into the metal now, which means it got into the rotors. So now, the rotors had to be replaced, the pads had to be replaced, the calipers look good, but at the first sign, when you hear the little indicators that are on the brakes, go get it changed out, man. If you can't do it yourself, go take it to somebody to do it. I mean, because the difference between having the rotors turned, if you can, unless they're throwaway rotors, and just putting a set of pads on is a big difference in price. And for you guys doing it at home, that can be as simple as the pad replacement for about 20-something dollars, you know, up to having to spend $200 to $500 because now you had to replace the rotors because you went too long. And but maintenance. And when you're doing these brake jobs and repair jobs, inspect everything. Inspect the calipers, inspect the sliders on it. We like using a little bit of brake grease to help the brake slide in and out a little better, also to get away with some of these newer ceramic brakes and backings and everything else. You can get a squeak, put a little bit on the back of them. That takes care of that. Make sure you clean all the parts, you know, when you're doing the rebuild on it. And next thing too, a lot of days now the newer vehicles have the fuel filter and simply and stuff either by the tank or in the tank itself. This car, particularly the '89 Honda, still has it on the firewall. And from the looks of that, it had been changed for a while, and it actually started developing a little leak where the brass fitting's at. So we're going to be putting a new filter in on that. But just maintenance, man. I mean, check your tires, air pressure, your brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, timing belt, timing chains. A lot of your four-cylinder cars and stuff have a timing belt. Those usually get replaced anywhere between 65,000 to 75,000 miles, depending on the manufacturer. So if you've got a car that's got 100,000 plus and it hasn't been done, do it, man, because it's going to save you a lot of money, because these newer motors, a lot of them are zero interference motors, which means when that timing belt goes, you just bent every other valve in that motor. And so, I mean, and make a long story short, spend a little now, save a lot later. Don't wait until it gets too much and then you get over your head with it. Oh my God, I don't put this kind of money, and I sell the car, and then someone like me buys it and does all the maintenance to it and gets it back running where it's at. But just helpful tips, man. Just gap the plugs, coil packs, plug wires, distributors, whatever you've got, brakes, fuel system. I mean, these are the main things that keep this car going. So just stay on top of it, do your duty, spend a little now, save a lot later. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you down the road.